So next up, we have Jen from Copper.
Hey, thank you. That was the driest intro ever I could have written. I promise I have hobbies, I go out, I do things, but I'm not going to tell you about any of them. So, wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Copper and some cool things that we're doing with Pendo. I was on kind of the decision-making committee when we got Pendo initially. I think it was back in February, early February. So we've been using it for about 8 months, and it's been a really, really great experience so far. I can't say enough kind words about all the folks we've worked with at Pendo. So thank you to Carrie, who I see, James, Courtney, Chantel, who built some guides for us too when we got started. So you guys are doing something really cool here, so thanks for having us here tonight. Wanted to go over a couple things. We'll be pretty high level tonight, but I want to give you guys kind of an intro about Copper and how we're using Pendo, and really kind of leave time at the end for questions if you have any. So, without further ado, we're Copper. You may have known us in the Bay Area up until July of this year as ProsperWorks. So one of the things I'll talk about tonight is how we use Pendo to kind of usher in this new brand for us. But essentially, Copper is a productivity CRM that is really focused on helping customers of all kinds build long-lasting relationships with their customers. So who here has used a CRM before? Yeah, most people, right? Did you have a great time? Yeah, not usually. But that's something that we're doing differently at Copper. We're really trying to make the customer relationships that you're building become, the main focus of your workday. So a lot of the busy work gets eliminated, as much that can be automated is automated, and even going above and beyond there with more kind of predictive suggestions about what you should be doing with your workday. So there's a lot of really cool things going on within the company, and a lot of changes have happened within the past year or so. So when we were looking at, how do we make sure that our customers are with us along the way with all the changes that are happening, we wanted to make sure we had a tool that we could scalably use to make sure that we're managing that communication effectively. So, enter Pendo. A few other words about Copper. Here's a cool GIF that you can barely see. I promise if you go to our website, it looks really good. But one place that we're using Pendo right now is just primarily in our web application. So what we're looking for in the future is potentially kind of using this across our apps. So excited about kind of the multi-app analytics and stuff that you guys announced tonight, which is great. And I want to kind of dive in a little bit about how we use Pendo to tell our story. So I'm going to cover a couple things. One, we'll talk about how we use Pendo for our rebrand that I mentioned went out in July. I'll talk a little bit about how we use it for onboarding in the product, and then what we're looking for in the future, kind of something that we're working on actively now, which is localizations kind of as we expand this business. So rebrand. Who here has ever gone through a rebrand with your company? Okay, a smaller group. You probably have more gray hairs now than you did before, right? That is definitely the case with our team. One thing that we knew we had to get right with our rebrand was making sure that our existing customers were with us on this journey kind of into the future. When we talk about the work that our marketing team did to make sure that we looked really great on billboards, that all of our messaging was really tight, it talked about the right things, we knew, hey, she's here tonight, front row. Way to go. We knew that if we didn't carry this message into the product, we were going to fall on our faces because we could not be behind the people that got us here, right? So it might seem kind of simple, but what I'm going to show you guys is the in-app announcement message that we put together through Pendo that actually had kind of a harrowing story behind it. So like any project and any sort of startup, we had a very tight deadline around when we wanted to roll out our rebrand. And so we were essentially, if we look at the timeline, really trying to get our rebrand out in 2 weeks. Just gonna let that sit there. So we had a major, strain on resources. It was kind of all hands on deck within product and engineering to make sure that the product was well situated, that the colors were changed, that it didn't look too different from what we were pre-rebrand to post-rebrand. But there were just so many different things and so many places where we need to make updates. So when it came to any opportunity to save on engineering resources, it was a huge deal. And Pendo kind of saved the day in terms of how we were going to communicate this to customers in our app, because with guides and tooltips and everything, it makes it very easy. We don't have to include an engineer, right? So that was great. And here is the in-product announcement I'll show you. That will load, yeah. It has a video. It steps through a couple steps here. It's just a welcome message. Hey, we're different, we're new. But a couple days before our rebrand went out, we had a little bit of a snafu where we were like, oh no, the guide's not working. We have all of these different guides and things that we want to try for this. We want to test a couple before we start, but they're not progressing. And one thing that again is a testament to our Pendo team is like 2 days before our rebrand went out, when we had all these things kind of on deck and ready to go, was we reached out via email, I think to probably James and Courtney, and we were like, you guys, this is real. We have a real deadline. I'm not trying to figure you guys out, but our guides aren't working, and we need them to right now. And they just did a great job of kind of walking us through. We were missing some JavaScript or something in one of the guides. But it really kind of put us at ease, and on the day of our actual announcement for our rebrand, we had our kind of like Pendo squad, I guess. Everyone kind of hovered around the publish button, and it was just a really exciting milestone for us that we knew was going to work, because we had, you know, the support from the team, and ultimately, it looks pretty good. So that's good. It was a good thing. It was a big, exciting thing for the company, so Pendo was really there for us when we needed it, which was great. There are a couple other things, though, I want to show you. Not related to rebrand, so moving on. Onboarding. One of the things I do at Copper is I'm the PM for our growth team, which means I am obsessively thinking about the first-time user experience and what that looks like for all different types of users who are on our platform. So one thing that I didn't mention at the start was that Copper is kind of unique in that we are a very accessible CRM, which means we get customers of all kinds, meaning people who have never used a CRM before, who are coming straight off of spreadsheets or like Post-its. We have very sophisticated users, you know, enterprise companies who are coming to us now, and a lot of folks who are in between. So when it comes to the way that we talk to our users in the product, we needed to make sure that it was equally accessible, and then we were talking to people in a way that made sense to them, that we were kind of meeting them where they are. So when it came to onboarding, we had identified that we weren't doing a great job, because it was kind of go in, explore at your own risk, choose your own adventure type situation, and we really weren't directing people to where the main value areas of the app were. So we wanted to use Pendo to do a better job of guiding people through the app, and what we found, I'm going to show you guys one of the initial tests that we ran through Pendo. This was one of the very, very first things that we did. It's actually pre-rebrand, so it's going to say Prosperworks. But we had some really exciting results. Given that it was a very small space to cram a lot of information in, but what we found is that folks who went through 25% of this onboarding guide, which included walkthrough steps, also included tooltips that had you go through the app, we saw if you went 25% of the way through, you were twice as likely to buy the product, which was the cheddar that we needed to make sure that we kept investing in onboarding. We have a lot of really excited folks in the office who were just kind of blown away with what could happen if you actually invested here and guided people through your app in a certain way. So it was a really, really cool thing to see. We've obviously done a lot of testing, many iterations, you know, have gone on after this. But it was a really cool thing to see, and a nice proof point to bring back to the business to say, hey, we should continue investing here, this is important. The next thing that I want to leave you with here, something that we're thinking about right now with Pendo, Copper's in a really exciting place right now with the business. We are looking to expand into Europe, into Latin America, and that's happening very quickly. And what we need our app and also all of our onboarding flows to do is literally speak the language of the customers that we're selling to. So one of the things that's really great about Pendo, if you haven't noticed, you can pull in language here. Again, seems simple, but when we were trying to figure out, oh my goodness, how do we actually roll out our business into Latin America and Europe, We needed a quick solution, and it was great to know that we had one with Pendo that we could essentially put out translated versions of all of our onboarding flows without having to lift anything on the engineering side. So just an exciting thing we're working on right now, but it's really nice to know that this is out of the box as well. We've also gathered a lot more information about our users that we're piping into Pendo to make all of our onboarding flows much more personalized, to kind of, again, like I mentioned, kind of meet people where they are, depending on the type of user you are. But this is just one way that we're doing that. So pretty exciting. And then last thing I just want to mention again, thank you to Pendo. We are big fans in the office. It was great to hear from Katie and also from Taylor about how you guys kind of put together your SWAT teams and folks who are using it. We've also had a lot of value kind of driven throughout the company with our designers are in there. We have product marketers who are in there. We've got folks from our CS team who are in there as read-only, just kind of cruising around in their reports. But we really purchased Pendo initially for kind of the onboarding guide workflows and the value that that offered the company, but we're also getting some surprising, not surprising, I guess I shouldn't say surprising, but not what we purchased it for, value out of the data analysis portion. We've really been able to kind of couple that with a lot of our other data analytics solutions, and it's been really powerful. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.